Back with you now at 9:23, continuing our conversation about education and the budget crisis with Oklahoma City Public Schools Superintendent Aurora Laura. Actually just got a phone call from a viewer named Marcus. He wanted to know, have you been to every school in your district?
Yes, I've been to every school. I've been actually working here for 2.5 years. So,
A little hard.
yeah. Oh, no. So I've been to every school.
Okay.
I went to every school even my first year of working here. So, yeah, I'm working back through the list again. And I've been to probably over half the schools again this year. But yeah, everyone's seen me.
Why is it important to do that?
You know, part of it's you want to get out and get the pulse of what's going on in the school, what's important to them, how are changes that we're making impacting them. So I keep a list and check them off as I've been and keep going each time I do visits, start to take more schools off the list.
Good for you. I think that'd be hard to do, you know, given all the administration work that you have to do and all the budget work that you now have to do, but getting out there and visiting with the students and the teachers. This question came from Michael, and this is a question a lot of people have. Where does the money go? I pay a lot of school taxes.
Yeah, the vast majority of the money for public education goes into salaries. It goes into paying teachers and support staff and principals. And so we really don't have a ton of wiggle room because most of our money is tied up in salaries.
The next one was about State Question 779, and that is where you got this idea. When that state question failed, which would have given our teachers a pay raise, you said, okay, you know, let's let our lawmakers figure out how we're going to get this done. She said this, Sherry said, a lot of people didn't like that. So much of the money in the state question in the bill went to administrative fees. That's what I believe needs to be cut. Teachers need the raise. What do you agree with what she has to say?
Well, the reality is we have cut so much in terms of public education that we've got to pay both teachers more and find other funding to pay for things like textbooks, activities, yes, sports, you know, those kind of things that we also want for our kids. You know, it's not actually just enough to fund teachers more. We're going to have to pay the school districts more to be able to just provide them with support.
Something that you said on the Teacher for a Day that I found really interesting is teachers didn't get into this to become millionaires. They need and deserve higher salaries, yes, but they also need, you said, the support and the items they need to do their jobs.
Exactly. You know, I think that's one of the things that we're worried about. Just giving teachers a raise while continuing to cut K-12 education will cause us to continue to have to increase class sizes, cut textbooks again, those kind of things. And those are the supports that teachers need to make this manageable and make them want to stay in it for the long term. And so I was going to say, we have to find a way to find a solution to both sides.
Both of them. This one from Cecilia, she was talking about why there wasn't a substitute in the classroom I was in. She said after taxes, substitutes make like $50, so it's not worth it. Is there something that you're looking at to make it more appealing to become a substitute? I didn't realize how important it is to have, you know, a bank of substitute teachers until there wasn't one that day that I was in a classroom.
Yeah, I mean, this is where at some point we would love to be able to raise the salaries even for substitute teachers, but we can't do that while we're continuing to cut. So I think our substitute teacher pay was something we cut a little bit in this past year, and it does make it challenging, but we just don't have the funds to be able to do everything we want right now.
I did a Facebook Live yesterday just to talk to everybody about my experience, and one of the things someone who was watching asked said, we can sit and complain and rant about this on Facebook all day long, but that doesn't help. What can we do to make a difference? What can someone and they asked about volunteering. Can I make a monetary donation? What can they do?
Yeah, I mean, two great things that people can do right now are through our foundation, you can make a donation to donorschoose.org, and that's where our teachers have put up projects or things that they need for their individual classrooms that their schools can't afford. And so this is where people can go online and donate $5 or $10 or $20 to a school in your neighborhood to help them purchase the supplies and materials they need. We also have our principals who've put things that the whole school needs on the website, which is Partners in Action, which our foundation hosts. And that's where they're asking for school-wide volunteers, things that the school might need for art projects, those kind of things. And so people should definitely go look on those websites to see how they can help.
One of the things that my teacher mentioned is how much money of her own money she spends in the classroom. And I asked her, I said, is there going to be a point where you say, I've spent enough? Have you crossed that line? She said, I crossed that line a long time ago, but my kids have to learn. They have to have these materials. And so an organization like Donors Choose, or if people single volunteer just $5, that could maybe help some of that, because we know they don't make enough money to be spending their own salary on these items, really.
Absolutely. You know, what people don't realize is that if we continue to cut public education, you know, our teachers, they're continuing to take money out of their own pockets, and the reality is they don't make enough to fully fund everything they need for their classrooms anyway. They need to be able to have a wage to support their own families, and so this is why we have to do the job of making sure they have the supplies and materials they need.
Again, thank you for letting me participate. It gave me a new perspective as I deliver these news stories about budget cuts and about education. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity and the experience. Aurora Laura, Oklahoma City Public Schools Superintendent. We certainly appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
The legislative session starts February 6th. Education and the budget going to be a hot button issue. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
KOCO 5 News in the Morning continues after this.